Hi everyone. Welcome back to episode 4 of Miss Opinionated. It's great to see y'all again. It's been a minute. I think the last episode dropped a month ago. Yeah. Uh Sorry. I've been busy. It's been a very busy semester, specifically this last month. At my school we have this week of events for like the Black orgs and obviously part of the e-board for the Black Student Union, so lots of planning, lots of stuff, things to do, lots of whatever. And that whole week was busy. I was trying to be engaged, obviously, with student body, going to events. Yeah, whatever. I'm not giving an excuse. I'm just saying that's what I was at. That's what I was doing. And then it's finals right now. So luckily for me, I'm done. But like the week before finals, I had mad projects to get done. So the podcast was like the last thing. But I was always thinking about things to say, to add, to talk about because a lot has happened in this last month. A lot around the world, specifically the United States, that I want to focus on. That scary stuff, interesting stuff, unique stuff. Yeah, but I hope y'all are doing well. Specifically for the people, students as well. Hope finals went well for y'all, and that summer is going to be great and productive and a great way to rejuvenate after a long year. Congratulations to the seniors as well, graduating. So proud of y'all. I'm ready to be there too. I got one more year left, unfortunately, but also greatly. I know the time flies and I'm going to miss it once I leave, but I'm also ready to leave. Anyways, so yeah, getting right into it. First thing to talk about is the Supreme Court case. Yeah, the one, I don't want to mess up the name. I should have wrote it down. That's my fault. Lannis versus Louisiana, I believe it was A9. Bro, let me get it right. Okay, Louisiana versus Calais. And this is basically a case that the results of it really messed up the Voting Rights Act that was, really, really crucial in Black people getting the right to vote. Not the right to vote, but to protect their vote. Because, yeah, we got the right to vote a little while before, but obviously those were not being enforced. Background a little bit about why this case was so big and like what is actually going on. Like the pretense before everything was that there was this case before. Well, okay, after the Voting Rights Act, certain states who have a pattern of discrimination against like Black people voting had to send in districts. Like when they created new districts for voting, obviously, they could send them in for pre-approval, so that they can check like, hey, we know you like to be racist, so let's make sure you're not being racist, whatever. Shelby County v. Holder, don't know what year that was, 20, I don't want to lie, but a little while ago, that that case said that the activity of like having to check in is unconstitutional, and so they allowed for so now states don't have to check in and like show that their maps are fair and equitable and are actually properly representing specifically the Black voices in those countries and the counties and all of the stuff. And now this specific case is basically pushing for the fact that the majority minority district in Louisiana, which is like one district, it's like one district, maybe two, I think it's just one district of Black people and a bunch of other districts of white people, of course. They're saying that making a district that's specifically for Black people is discriminatory and unconstitutional. That was the case. Supreme Court said, yeah, you're right. Well, the same 6 people who always do it, and then I feel bad for the other 3 that are really holding us down, trying their best. Like, I feel like I would go crazy if I was on the Supreme Court with these other people who are serving Trump and at the like demise of our country. It's just so hard and like scary to see. But yeah, basically, Voting Rights Act gutted, not really enforceable anymore, not really, there's no purpose for it because the biggest part of like having proper representation for Black people, Black voters is gone, and states are already doing what they've been wanting to do, which is push us out, and they're doing these weird districts where it's like there's a long line, no community really, like down the middle of states all around, just to make sure that the Black people can't all be congregated in one. And it's obviously like very, very crazy. It's so hard to talk about this stuff and like figure out the words to describe it, because one, it's so much going on, obviously, but two, it's like, it's because it's not touching me. Does not mean I don't care. Because it's not touching me, it's like, it's hard for me to fully imagine what that world looks like or what that's going to do for people. And the thing is, a lot of the stuff that's going on now, we're not really going to see the effects till a couple years down the line. This one we're going to see the effects now. It's midterms, so we got to see who is taking what seats. I think that's a big reason why this case was pushed and like why Trump is doing what he's doing, because he knows, first of all, his approval rating is like 35%, very, very low. He knows that we're not happy with him, people are not messing with him. So obviously, in turn, they're not going to be happy with the Republican Party, and they're going to probably want to push them out, as they should. But because of that, they're trying their best to see how they can win this election, but we'll see. I don't know. It's a lot. Oh, I actually wanted to mention, got my hair done. Yeah, very fresh. That's also where I'm wearing my hood, because like my scalp is very cold. I got it done yesterday and I actually recorded an episode with the woman who was doing my hair. You're gonna see soon, sometime in the next few weeks. I actually have 2 interview episodes coming up after I post this, so please be on the lookout for them. Really, really cool people, really dope stuff that they're doing, and I would love for y'all to see what the students at UMass, students period, are just bringing into the world. But so that was a side note. Back to the main thing. Yeah, the Supreme Court is nuts. I'm not surprised. It's like everything. That's the thing. I feel like I'm driving myself crazy just because how repetitive I feel like I am. But the thing is, the instances are different, but it's the same bull. It's the same bull. People's rights are being violated. Donald Trump is behind it and is pushing for it, and people are complacent. I'm mad. That's how the cycle goes. I'm always mad. I'm just like, I know it's not just me, but like I'm always mad because there's always something going on, and all I can really do is talk about it. So that's what I'm going to do. I hope that y'all will listen and talk about it with me. Some more local news that was kind of crazy that has also happened this 1 month break at my school. A woman, her name is Emma, she was killed at the hotel. My school has a hotel, and she was killed by her husband. It was really, really crazy. I think he like, not to be graphic, but like beat her, and then like until she died. And I want to give space to hold that moment for her, and just also women around the world who face violence and have died at the hands of domestic violence and femicide, where women are really vulnerable in this time and have always been. But it's just really, really sad, and how close it was to me and close to like the people at UMass and the community here. And like she worked with a lot of people in the dining department, and it was just really, really like sad and like real and weird. And I don't know, I feel like the school is interesting in the way that they don't really bring up or talk about the hard stuff. I'm glad that they did what they did here by giving her a vigil and like also giving us a time to mourn her and celebrate her life. But it's a common trend, and it's a normal thing that we're seeing. What was it? It was I think it was Louisiana as well. Crazy. That state has a lot going on. That man who murdered his entire family, like 8 kids, I believe, 7 or 8 kids, and his wife, and just like the most terrible way, massive, like lots of death. I think he also killed another woman or shot another woman. I don't know. I think one person is alive. I have to check in. And double check, but yeah, lots of violence everywhere, and it's very scary, and it's very like hard to live with that and see that, and just not worry about your own life and worry about the people that you love. So please take this time to just hug the people you love, hold them tight, just value the things that we were able to do, and value the lives that we have, because even though things are crazy, at least we're alive, because we can't see the same for a lot of people, especially around the world, who are dying at the hands of partners in society now. Because another thing that's going on currently right now is Cuba. In Cuba, these people are without electricity, water, fuel, and like constantly going through blackouts. And a lot of what's going on is it's killing people. It is. I wanted to read something because I want to make sure I'm like explaining what's going on in Cuba correctly. Let me get it out. Yeah, currently experiencing the worst economic crisis since the 1990s. Uh, Basically, a near total collapse of the power grid, very fuel shortages, and scarcity of food. So people are trying to survive, and all of the resources are being shipped from them. And do you want to guess who is pioneering this and who's causing this? Do you want to guess? I'm gonna give you 3 seconds. Ding, ding, ding. If you said the U.S., you're correct. So we have a really big part. We're playing a big part in this situation that Cuba's going to, because when was this? I don't remember what year. I was this year. United States has had an economic embargo on Cuba, which Trump is really, really pushing to, kind of put Cuba in a tight spot so that they can take over the same way that they try to do, and they're trying and currently doing in Venezuela. They're sanctioning other countries from giving support to Cuba. So, you're not going to let Cubans get the resources that they need from other people, and you're going to push them to the brink and to death until the president gives up his rule. And as a president, like, what do you even do in that situation where you're being held hostage? Really, your people are dying. I saw a story on TikTok. This is good news. It was a news story, but like, what happens when they're going, like, the power outages are like long lasting, like 10-15 hours. Like, they last a very long time. And what they're saying that at hospitals, like, the nurses, the second that the power goes off, they have to run to the incubators with these newborn babies to hand pump their ventilators. Babies, these newborn babies who are not even going to be able to stand a chance, because the United States has this I don't know, moral authority, Trump feels, and just the history of the United States. I feel like I'm a broken record because of how much I talk about this, but that's just how real and pressing it is. Because of this moral authority that they feel and hierarchy they feel over countries like Cuba, they are killing these people. They're allowing them to die at the hands of them, knowing we can fully 100% support them. The same way we're supporting Israel. Same way we're sending resources and aid to people in Israel. Full stop. Don't know why. What do they need that for? Anyways, it's very, very terrifying. I want to at least make people aware of it, because unfortunately there's not much that I personally can do, but the least I can do is talk about it and at least speak out against it and say that that is wrong. Will it do anything? I don't want to be negative and say that it won't, but also it's kind of the reality that I feel like I've been living in, and maybe other people have as well, where it just feels like everything you see, everything is plagued with sadness and terrible stuff in the world. And me, who's someone who's moved and wants to, be in this collective fight, join this fight towards liberation and to like uplift all oppressed groups, it feels like right now in this moment, there's nothing I can do besides talk about it. So that's what this is here for, to talk, let other people know, like let more people be aware, because then maybe more people will be angry. And then once there's more of us, we can, unite, find a common ground, find some goal, and push towards that. But before we can do the fighting, we got to do the uniting. And that is where we're lacking a tad bit, which also kind of makes me want to talk a little bit about what this episode is about, and figuring out ways to unite, figuring out ways to use our voices collectively. But I do also want to, it's just like a tidbit that I saw that I thought was kind of interesting. What was it? It was, this survey, Allianz Life Insurance Company survey. And they said that 67% of Americans worry more about running out of money than death, which is way higher than previous 5 annual studies. So people are scared to lose, are way more scared of losing money and like not being able to afford things because of the rising costs of living. Gas, holy crap, is now. I saw this funny tweet. It was like, bro, these gas prices are like valedictorian level GPAs, 3.8. I want academic probation gas again, the 2.7, all that stuff. That actually made me laugh a lot, but that's the case. People are not able to afford more and more of the things that they need for everyday life. And I think that just brings up a lot of anxiety because you have no choice now but to worry and but to spend the money and but to save up and pay the bills. But still, it's like no matter how much more and more you pay, the higher and higher things start to cost, which also relates to this email I got from my school that really made me, I was just really pissed when I seen it. This is the last thing I'm going to reference before I talk about the actual point of the episode, but it said, "Dear student, there are a number of important changes to federal financial aid policy, blah, blah, blah. It goes into effect July 1st because of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, which is all about student loans." And the thing is, when I saw that, I just put my phone down. I'm like, I can't even worry about this right now because whatever. But that is so scary and like annoying that right now I'm trying to get my education. I'm trying to get my education because I can't do anything without it. One, you're not giving me no job. I can't live for myself. I can't pay for anything for myself if I don't at least have a college degree. Soon, eventually, then the standard's gonna go up. I mean, even now, even just a regular bachelor's ain't gonna do much for you anymore. They need you to have masters. They need you to have the accelerated, all the other whatever stuff. But now, even then, they're putting limits, like pretty strict limits on how much you can even take out in loans. So you're going to make the school unaffordable, right? Then you're going to change how much I can take out in loans to pay for said school. But I still got to figure it out, right? Take out private. I even want to think about that. Take out private loans. Beg y'all for money. Is that what you want me to do? You guys want me to beg you? I'm not doing that. Personally, I'm not going to do that. But, I really feel like I'm on the brink because I'm trying to go to law school. And for graduate school in general, like they're not giving as much money as they used to anymore. And so we are left to figure it out. But truthfully, I'm leaving it up to God. Like, I can't even worry about that. And that's what they want me to do. But I'm not going to because these people are not going to come to my door and knock for me to pay off these loans. Not anytime soon. So until they do, I'm pushing that off to the side. And we'll trust that the Lord will take me where I need to be. And that the school I need, whatever, will work out. But that was just so disheartening to see. When they even send this email out, it was like early in the morning, bro. I wake up to this shit and I'm like, okay, great, perfect, love it. Anyways, back to what I was saying before about collectiveness and unity and whatever. This is mainly for students, which I think is probably, or like students or young people. I think that's mainly what my audience is anyways. I'm 21, like I said. I think I said that one time. But yeah, I'm 21. And I feel like we, Gen Z specifically, are living in we're a unique generation, of course, for many reasons. I had heard this clip from Grits and Eggs, Deontay Kyle, love him down. If you ever see this, like, hit me up, dude. But he had made a point, and I low-key really disagreed with it because someone had called in asking for advice about starting a podcast. They were like 19, and he was like, nobody wants to hear from a 19-year-old. Like, come back when you're 25 and then have something to share. And though I understand, because that was a fear of mine when starting this podcast, where I'm like, I'm only 21. I haven't lived much life. Who's going to come to me? Who wants to listen to me for advice or my perspective on things? But I feel like because we as a generation have lived in such turmoil, like since we were born, 9/11 was like smack in the middle of Gen Z, like the age range, right? Just constantly living in a state of fear, a state of worry, seeing the rise and falls of many different types of architects in our government and just like people in general. Like right now, like the rise of Trump, like that was our adolescence, right? Because of that, we are very, very unique. And I feel like that is scary and sad thing that like our childhood was kind of plagued by bull, but also really, really good because we know all the bad, we more than anybody want better. Like personally, I'm sick of every day, every year something crazy is going on and it's like stressing me out and it's like stressing everybody else out. And now we're going to be the adults, right? We're going to be the ones who have to be in government, figure out all this other stuff. Actually, be in government, I wish. They still got them 60-year-olds up in there. That's for another day, but let's get us in there, please, eventually. We're not all, I think it has to be 20, yeah, 25. So I'm not even there yet. Let's wait a little longer, but still, we're taking on these roles. We are becoming the adults, and we are being left with a world that we've clearly seen hasn't been working. I think because we've seen our parents' generations and the millennials and everything, how a lot of the things that they upheld, a lot of the social ideas that they've subscribed to have been holding them back. Like Gen Z, we're a lot more open about mental health, right? We see that our parents are traumatized and they don't talk about it and they try to pass that down. But because we have this new perspective, we're able to open up our minds to this idea that, hey, like maybe you're not okay. Maybe that's okay. Maybe we can talk about it. There's therapy, there are resources, there are ways to help. Because we have this new idea and this new mindset, I feel like our voices are actually hold a lot more weight, because we have a creative lens that comes from maybe not living here for so long, like being alive for so long, but being alive for so much, right? So much has happened in my 21 years of life that it forces you to have a new way of thinking. Like I feel like Gen Z, we should be, happy and proud of ourselves for how different and accepting, for the most part, we've been of differences. And so because we've lived a life like that, I think we should have more of us talking, more of us doing podcasts, or maybe not. I don't know. People always say the podcast scene is very saturated, but I don't know. I think what I have found joy in is just talking and hoping to find people who want to talk about the same stuff, engage in the same things, see the world and are just as stressed out and just as angry as I am, but want to find community of other people who, even if it's just a rant, but also then taking that to brainstorm and think of new things, think of new ideas, think of ways to, spread knowledge around. It's hard in a country this big because, you can't really unify. I don't know how many Gen Zers are there? I don't know. I don't really know. I don't really feel it to like looking it up, but there's a lot of us spread out all around the country and the world in general. But because I was thinking about Nepal and what they did and how they overturned their government, like literally Gen Z overturned their government because of, I think they're angry about a couple deaths that had happened, a few like murders that had happened a few months prior. They were planning heavily on Discord, which is crazy. Maybe I need to get on Discord, because I feel like why I love our generation is that we just find other ways and find unique ways to solve issues and find ways to unify. Roblox, I'm sure probably people can find a chat and plan whatever, for the better or for worse. Obviously, there's some crazy ones of us. I remember, because why I'm even hesitant to say like, oh, Gen Z is this and like going to be the change, was because during the election, saw that like the numbers for Gen Z, women and men who voted for Trump, was like extremely high. But also because of our uniqueness in the world and our anger that we experience, it can be used for good or bad. It depends on what you find yourself in. Like the alt-right pipeline has a deep grasp on our people, like on our generation in general. And they exploit insecure boys, specifically insecure boys who don't understand why they're, maybe like not as developed yet, or not as mature. And rather than blaming that on just regular, like everyday things that can go away and just will go away with age and time, they're blaming it on this change in society that men are no longer valued, whatever. They're trying to uphold these old ways of thinking. And for us, for our generation, it's important that we kick back as aggressively as possible. There's no way that I'm going back to when America was great again, whatever, all that bull. No, because I'm a Black woman anyway, so it was never great. Obviously, we know this. This is a given, but just as a generation, like, we could be a lot happier if we just shed ourselves of like this box that we have been constantly been pushed in, or what has came before us. We're seeing that's not working. We're seeing what it gives you, a world where you are expected to be one thing, expected to act one certain way, and the anger that causes, and the people that come out of this anger. These ideas of racism, white supremacy, like things that have been here for a very long time, and obviously won't go away just like that, but can be unlearned and then also not passed down. The thing is, all this needs to stop with us. We have to be the ones leading the charge, the ones talking about this stuff, the ones having these conversations, the ones that are pushing against everything that we're seeing right now. How we'll do that is a great question, but that's not something that I myself can figure out alone. I can have some ideas, but I think what makes it also really important, why I'm even like having this talk and having this call for people who want to be in this fight, is that we gotta find each other first. Like, there's a big generation, not everybody's gonna be dedicated to it, but I know there's a lot of us who are, and finding that community, I'm hoping that will eventually lead to the creation of systems, the creation of ideas, and the implementation of all that we're envisioning for ourselves. So I urge Generation Z to keep talking, keep listening, and keep learning. Don't fall into what is being taught to you. At face value, at least, learn how to research, learn how to look into things, learn how to ask questions. Please don't listen to what your parents are saying just because of your parents. Also, specifically, honestly, anybody. Like, don't listen just because. Like, have your own ideas. Look into things and be for real. Be for real and actually think about things like, why is this an ideal that I have to uphold? Why does this happen? Why am I expected to do this? Why does being a girl mean this? Why does being a guy mean this? Just like question things that don't feel natural, but also things that have been around for so long that you don't really think about it anymore. Like, just certain ideas, certain stereotypes. And then from there, we'll see what's next. I don't know. All I really have for y'all, which also is the thing that I feel sometimes like about, is the fact that, like, because I'm so young, all I really have are ideas, but I think that's also a really good thing. I don't want to even diminish my own self and say that my ideas can't be pushed and like actually created and actually like tangible to do the things I want to do and change the things that I want to change. So I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, keep learning, keep reading, keep asking questions, talk to adults as well who maybe are more aligned in their idea of revolutionary like thinking and like social justice, see what they've done, what has worked for them, because like the problems we're trying to face, they've been facing them for a long time. And can we say they've succeeded? I don't know. I really don't know, but I just want to see more of us. I want to see more Gen Z give a crap. Like, I am tired of hearing the same voices, millennials specifically, love y'all though, talking about the problems that we're seeing in the world. We as Gen Z, we have been experiencing this since we've been born. We should be the most tired, the most sick of it, because at least they know what they're looking for and what it used to be when things were like better. But all we know is craziness and terror. So why are we not more mad? I'm sure we're there, but like, where are y'all? Find me, because I'm just as mad as you, and I want to be there. I want us to be mad together and then use that anger to do something. So this is my call to our generation to get up, talk about something, and change the world. But yeah, that's really gonna be it for me. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to add before I leave. My goal is to post this tomorrow. Let's see. I think I can. My goal is to post this tomorrow because I know y'all miss me. And then go from there. Please let me know if you have any ideas, thoughts, want to create like a Discord or create some sort of chat to get more of us angry Gen Zers together. But yeah, other than that, I will see y'all in the next one.